Here's verse 9 of the 4th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus is at the well outside the town of Sychar in Samaria. His disciples, or at least some of them, have gone into the community to get some food to have for lunch, presumably having arrived there about the 6th hour, noon of the day, the heat of the day, probably there to take a little rest and to have some food before they resume their journey through Samaria. As Jesus is waiting there, either alone or maybe with a couple of other disciples off to the side, a woman from the town comes out to draw water around noon of the day, and a conversation ensues in which Jesus asks her for a drink of water. Something unusual, of course, because she, being a Samaritan woman, was not accustomed at all to having any interaction with a Jewish man. And so she responds to him. Here we have lege. This is from lego, third person singular, present active indicative. So she says, un, therefore, auto, the pronoun, dative, singular, masculine. She says, therefore, to him, he gune, had this word in the last verse, of course. Gune means woman, word gynecology, and others, of course, in English, derive from this particular word. She says to him, that is the woman, and then interestingly, he Samaritis, the Samaritan. This is actually a noun, and so it's used in apposition with woman, the Samaritan. You'll notice, by the way, the same word is used twice more. It's used here and it's used here in this verse, emphasizing really, as John tells the story, the fact that this woman is a Samaritan woman. It adds some drama and some unexpected features to the story that this is emphasized in this way. So she says to him, that is this woman of Samaria, pos, this is an adverb, indeclinable, pos, how is it? It's introducing a question. Pos su, the inclusion of the second person singular pronoun, of course, adds emphasis to it. How you, udaios, on. So how is it that you, a Jew, this is the nominative, singular masculine, being, from a me. This is, so it's the idea of how is that you being a Jew, par emu. Para, the preposition, rather fluid in Greek, can have many different meanings, but all of them have something to do with being in the presence of, being beside, being alongside, being from, in the sense of being in some kind of proximity. And so the emphasis here is that this is unexpected, that Jesus is asking something, in a sense, approaching her in a more personal way than would have been expected, certainly by her, and we're thinking by the reader as well, there should be some surprise in this. So, you being a Jew asking from emu, genitive, singular, from me, piein, this is the infinitive of pino, we had it in the last verse as well. It means to drink. It's the present infinitive. How is it that you ask to drink from me? Ites. This is from aiteo, I ask, contract verb. This is the second person singular, present active indicative. So how is it that you are asking to drink from me, asking a drink from me? And then she adds gunaikos, a woman, Samaritidos, a Samaritan, uses, the participle here, of me being a Samaritan woman. This is the genitive. It goes with the genitive here. So she's a woman of Samaria. She's being a Samaritan woman is the idea. Ugar, sugrontai, this is from sukraomai, which means to have dealings with. Interesting word. It's the only time in the entire New Testament this particular word is used. The sug here is from sun, means together. Kraomai, which is behind this participle, means to have dealings, to work or something like that. So to jointly have dealings or to have some kind of intercourse or interaction, some such things. For they do not have interaction, udaioi, nominative, singular, the Jews, Samaritais, two, the dative now, that same word, the Samaritans. It's been a question whether or not this is John's sort of editorial comment that Jewish people didn't have dealings with Samaritans, or is this something the woman is saying as a kind of retort almost here? How is it that you're asking a Samaritan woman for a drink since Jews don't have dealings with Samaritans? And it may represent a little bit of the offense that was related in the Samaritan mind to the fact that they were regarded clearly as somewhat second-class individuals and somewhat beneath the dignity of a Jewish person, especially a Jewish man, to engage in these kinds of interactions. I suspect the latter is actually the explanation here, and so this, of course, puts the question to Jesus now that he's broken a social expectation. He's put a question to her, he's raised a request to her, and the question is, how is he going to respond to this situation?